So let's get started on illustration number 3. So I've already downloaded it. What I'm going to first do is go to my layers, unlock my original layer where all my original pieces are, and I'm just going to grab drawing 3 and I'm going to drop it in and scale it down so it fits kind of my needs at this point. Remember to hold the shift key. Then I'm going to lock that. And these shapes are pretty simple. All right, we're going to use a lot of the Pathfinder in this to help us put this together. I'll kind of show you where you can do that as well as the pen tool. So I'll start with the easiest one, and I'm just going to use a rounded rectangle to start. And you're going to see that it doesn't really work that well because, I mean, you can adjust, all right? But I find it easiest to just create a regular rectangle and kind of imagine where the points would be for this particular one, like that. All right, and before I get started, as I get going here, let me grab my light blue. Bring that over. Let me grab my purple, because we're going to need this for these. Let me grab my dark blue. And the nice part is these are all the same colors. So once you do that, I mean, you got to add a gray. I guess I can add that now. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so now I want to take this guy, and I'm going to round the corners just a little bit. All right, so it sort of matches that look of the brick. Now I want the stroke to be this purple, and I'm going to make it a little thicker. I guess that's cool. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a fill, and the fill is going to be this lighter blue. Okay, so that I have it. And actually, let's do it this way. Let's build it. So we've got this one. I'm going to hold the Option key, click and drag, and then I'm going to swap this out. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the stroke. You can come back here. Get rid of my stroke, and I'm going to fill this with the blue. So now I've got a light blue, and I've got the purple. So if I drag this on top, obviously this is not underneath it. So I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. So now I've got this, and I forgot that this has a fill. Okay, so I've got my ring, and I've got my fill. And you're going to want to do this. It's easier later on when you want to manipulate. But I'm going to Option drag one, all right, and then I'm going to Option drag another. And I want to get this shadow here, okay? So all I'm going to do is take this one, and let's fill it with the darker color. All right, that's the one we want left, okay? And I'm going to grab this guy because it's on top, and I'm going to leave just what I want, which is that. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to take my Pathfinder, and I'm going to minus front. So there is my little shadow that I can drop in here. Let me push this forward, okay? And the nice part is this is already on top of that, all right? So now I've got that piece done. And then these are just a rounded rectangle. All right. And we want to give it a fill of white. And I'm going to have to zoom in a little bit to grab this. Let's move this right here. And then we got ourselves a little circle, or an ellipse to be precise, okay, with a white fill. And we drag that right up there. Okay, so now I can take this brick and group it together, and then all I got to do is copy more bricks. Okay, so I can Option drag here, then I can Option drag here, something like that. I can probably push this over a little bit. Ta-da! Done. Okay, so again, using the rectangle and using those points in the rectangle to round them off. Okay, pretty basic. Again, you could pen tool this little piece if you wanted to, but really just using the minus front's that much quicker. Okay, so it's building it in 3 pieces. So let me show you one that could be a little bit more difficult. So let's talk about this one for a second. All right. Now I see 2 shapes. I see a rectangle and the top of a rectangle. Do you see that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the rectangle here. All right. And same deal for now. I'll just give it a fill of this lighter blue. All right. Actually, let's give it a stroke of purple. And I think it was 3 I did it with the last one. So now I've got that rounded piece. Now that I've got that, I want to create this top half, okay? So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to go from here up, all right? I'm going to draw this guy. And now what I want to do is I want to click on that one, and you can see how it's highlighted. If I just click here and I grab all 4, it's going to rotate all 4, remember? So I'm going to click there, I'm going to hold the Shift key, and I'm going to click there. And that activates, you can see the difference in the 2 dots, okay? I think if I zoom in, you can kind of see. So See the difference there? That's a circle, and that one is like a circle with a dot in it. It's very hard to see, but so I click here, I hold the shift key and I click here. Then what I want to do is round these corners until they match. All right. Now you'll notice it's not quite there, so I can actually take my tool here and I can pull this down a little bit to get it to exactly what I want it to be. So that's pretty darn close. Okay. Now I can take these two pieces, all right, match them up like that, and all I'm going to do is grab these, and I can, for now, I'm just going to merge them. Oh, you notice it's a little off. You want to make sure that both of these are perfectly lined up. See, my smart guide's helping me there. And I unite them. So there's my shape. Okay, now you'll notice I need these bottom corners to be rounded. So I can go in with my direct selection tool, click, shift click, and just give them a little round edge. Okay, and just like that, I've got it. All right, then I can take the pen tool and basically click a line across, and again, hit escape, drag this right here. All right, and let's cheat. Let's just put this up here. Why am I guessing? Put this here. Okay, so now I've got, I'm shift clicking, I've got these two guys. All right, so if I took this and copy and pasted, and then got rid of the stroke, gave it a fill of the lighter blue, all right, sent it to the back, okay, then I can option click this, all right, and option click this, and then this one I'd make a darker blue, okay, and I'd take, whoop, this guy is going to be on top, break the front, all right, get it to where I need it, grab the two, minus the front, there's my shadow, all right, and remember, if I drop this here and I find that, because this one is, you see it's on top of my purple outline, I'm just going to grab that purple outline again and bring it to front, and then I can manipulate my shadow a little bit more, okay, and actually then I've got to bring this line in front too. All right, so you can kind of get the idea of how it's built. All right, and then you've got rounded rectangle, and this you can do a couple of different ways. You could use the pen tool, all right, or you could basically take the exact same shape we built here, all right, and bring this down. This is where using Illustrator, it becomes, you know, working smarter, not harder. I can bring this right down like this, all right, and ta-da, there's my shape. Okay, and I can drop that right in like that. All right, and then obviously it needs to be a little bit thicker because the handle's a little bit bigger, and I can take this and send it to the back. All right, so there's, you know, it's always about working smarter. So you can see how quickly that is. The other one that's really super tricky, all right, and so that technique of combining shapes is how you're going to create the paintbrush. All right, and the only one that gets real tricky is this guy down here. I don't know if you remember the demo I did in class, but I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and again, I'm going to kind of imagine my points, all right, and it's already got that, so that's cool. I'm going to round my edges just a little bit because it just barely rounded. Okay, so here's my basic shape. Now, the other thing I want to do is I'm noticing some funkiness, so I want to round the corners. You can see the different corners that go here, and you can fill inside, fill outside, okay, so you can kind of see, all right, and actually make that a little thinner, there. Okay, so I've got this shape, and then I'm going to option copy, and I want to go to my swatches, and again, we're going to go to my stroke and make it none, and go to my fill and make it this lighter blue, all right. Now, all right, I've got these circles, all right, that I want to cut out of the blue, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a circle, all right, that's about the same size as the circle that I need. All right, let me zoom in here. And this is going to be, we're going to be doing what's called a compound path, which is going to allow us to be a knockout, because what you want is, you don't want circles with white, you want them to punch through the hole there, make a hole in the drawing. So let me line this up. Now I'm going to hold the option key and drag, and smart guides are going to let me align all three up. All right. And then I'm going to take these 3 circles. All right. And for now, I'm going to option drag them. And I'm going to put them right on top and center on this. Then all I'm going to do, all right, is grab these and say minus front. And that makes it a whole. See that? Which is what we would call a clean file. It isn't just white on top of blue, which is not ideal. All right. So now I've got that. Okay. I can take this and arrange it to the back. Then I can option drag or copy and paste a copy and another copy. All right. Let's make the bottom one the darker blue. The darker blue. All right. Put this right on top of this. And you could do the shadow beforehand if you wanted to, because you notice I'm going to get a funky outline. You can make your shadow when you have your full square. And I'll show you why. So I can actually separate that. So before you do the circles, do your shadow. Otherwise, you're going to get a funky shadow. So I'm going to make my shadow like we did before. Again, grab this, minus front. All right. So I've got my wonderful shadow here. I want to take my line, bring that to front. So you can kind of see it's all about sort of shifting things back and forth and in and out and moving things around and thinking about it. We talked about this in class. Thinking about it, you're building it. You're not really drawing. You're putting a piece of paper on top of another piece of paper on top of another piece of paper. So I have my 3 circles, and I can drag these guys right here. All right, so you can see where I'm starting to develop. Now all I need, and this is where it's nice and simple, is I'm going to take a rectangle, and I'm going to go like this. All right, and the rectangle, all the rectangle needs is the blue, and then it needs the gray fill. And I can take this one and line it here, and there's my intersecting points. And I'm going to hold the option key and drag this one, and then I'm going to take the option key and drag this one. And then all I'm going to do is click on this one, hold the shift key, goink, click on this one, hold the shift key, goink, goink. And I'm going to take these 3. Remember, I'm holding the shift key to select multiple items. So I'm clicking, I'm pressing down the shift key, and then I'm clicking and clicking. And I'm going to say object, arrange, send to back. All right. And then I've got my pieces. So I know it seems a little tricky, but if you watch the video a couple of times, it'll sort of make sense. And the rest of these are pen tools and knockouts. So anytime you see, this hole in this, I don't want it to look like this. Okay, I want it to be where it doesn't have a fill. This really isn't white. This is just a hole, and the paper happens to be white, if that makes sense to you. Okay, and so anywhere you see that, you're going to want to either do the pen tool around or do a knockout through it. Okay, which is using the minus front in the Pathfinder. Okay, and just real quick, any shape you have. So let's do this for demonstration purposes. So let's say this was the color of my shirt, and let's say I was designing a logo for it, and we'll make a really tricky logo. Ready? Here's a yellow, all right, and let's say I wanted to have a cutout of that. Well, you don't want to design it to look like this, okay? Because even though if I take this and said, oh yeah, it's designed, okay, it's not the same as taking these 2 things and clicking minus front, okay? And the difference is, I think, pretty obvious, is if I put this one here like this, and then take this one over and minus the front, okay? This is seen as a much cleaner object than this is. You can get away with doing this when you're just doing digital art, but not when you're doing prep work for like icons, things like that. They need to be clean, okay? So you make your swatches, you use your basic shapes, use your pen tool, combine shapes, all right? And kind of work with it. If you get into trouble, let me know. Other than that, good luck. All right? Thanks.